this is Chief Allen.
Hey Chief, how are you?
All right.
Hey, my name is CJ. I'm having a problem with your
Your name is what again?
CJ,
CJ. Okay.
or Grisham is my last name. I filed a complaint about a month ago with IA, and I'm having several
Concerning what exactly?
the treatment of a citizen who was open carrying.
Okay. And where was that?
It was
Oh, okay. Wait. You're complaining for someone else?
I'm filing a complaint about the treatment. I'm with Open Carry Texas. We're a statewide nonprofit, and
Okay.
and
But
so
we don't take complaints from other citizens on an event where we're making an arrest.
there was no arrest. That's the complaint that I have.
Okay. So you are concerned about what here exactly?
Well, a citizen who was open carrying was detained for over half an hour,
Hmm.
and they refused to let him go. Then one of the officers went and forced Walmart to issue a trespass warning. Not forced, they convinced them and encouraged them to issue a trespass warrant against this guy because they didn't like the fact that. So when they
When you say they, are you
the
talking about the
officers,
police officers?
the officers,
Okay.
yes. I'm trying to see if I've got the names of the guys off the top of my head here. But what happened was they went and stopped him, and he was open
Okay, now,
carrying.
let me ask you some questions. Now,
Sure.
where are you when you're seeing all this?
He sent the individual sent me his video.
Okay. All
So
right, go ahead.
so yeah, so I saw the video exchange. And so my complaint is that the officers refused to let this guy go in spite of telling him he was breaking no laws, which a detention requires reasonable suspicion or probable cause, and then the fact that they tried to did get the Walmart manager to issue a trespass warrant, and then they basically gave him a trespass warrant. Now I already spoke with Walmart, and they've rescinded that and found out that their manager was basically pressured to issue that trespass warrant based off what the cops were saying.
And how did the police come to be at Walmart?
An employee who was leaving called and said that there was a guy who was carrying had a holstered handgun, and so they
Okay.
responded to that call.
Okay. And your concern is what here now?
Well, my concern is that El Paso PD officers are what I would say amounts to harassment, because I mean
Well,
30
first of
minutes
all,
is a
I
long
disagree
time.
with you. I disagree with you on that because if this person had the proper credentials, that stoppage probably wouldn't have taken that long. And we
Well,
showed up to the scene from what you're telling me, what I just heard, based on someone else calling the police. It wasn't just the police officers saw someone with a gun and then decided on their own to stop him. It was a request from a citizen of the community, and this citizen happens to be a employee, evidently. And so, with that being said, the police are obligated to stop and check on the validity of whether or not that person has a concealed permit, which allows him to open carry.
one, that's not true, but two, if I call the office,
What's not true?
if I call the police and I say there's a guy driving down the street, are you guys going to stop that car and check his driver's license?
All depends on what you describe as the
Uh,
behavior.
well, the behavior was that a guy was carrying a holstered handgun.
Okay, and their concern became our concern. That's what I'm getting
Okay,
at.
so if I'm
So, in other
concerned that
words,
there's a car on the street driving down the
we've done
road,
that many times. We've done that many times. What you're describing, police stop people all the time. If they come upon the vehicle being described in the situation you're trying to indicate as an
n-
example, then the police will drive up if they're able to and monitor that behavior. And if they see the same behavior that was described, they will make a stop.
but the behavior described is that a person's driving.
Say that again.
I said the behavior that I just gave you in my example is that a person is driving.
Okay.
So if I
The
call and
question
say
that
there's
would
a
be
person
followed up.
driving
No,
down the
no, hold
road,
on, hold on, hold on. That's
well,
not
sir, you
the
keep
whole
cutting
thing.
me off.
Yes, I am. Because
Okay,
I'm
then
asking you
don't tell me to
questions
hold on
specifically,
when I'm
and
trying to
your
explain
vagueness
myself.
on it, your vagueness on on it.
No, I was not vague.
Stop someone. There will be follow-up questions coming from communications in this case. What type of behavior are you seeing? Just because you called in, yes, on the statement you just made, no, we would not stop anyone.
Okay, well, the statement was that there's a guy with a holstered handgun. That was the complaint. I heard it. I have the 911 call.
Okay, so a holstered handgun is a concern to someone, we would stop. And if that person would say, do you have your credentials with you, sir? Yes or no? That's where the stop would be valid based on someone else's concern. If they produce those credentials, then it will most likely be released.
Oh, so you're saying that when there's a call of a perfectly legal activity...
We don't know that until we check.
So, okay, so if I call and say someone's driving down the road, you don't know if they have a license and they're driving legally? Do you stop them and check them? No, I'm not vague. That is the situation. The guy is the guy is driving on the correct side of the road. The guy is not speeding. Okay. Okay, then let me explain this then.
We're not making a complaint. If you
Chief,
want to complain,
Chief,
you need to go to the Texas Department
Chief,
of Public Safety.
I want to read two things to you.
Okay, you're
all right.
not going to...
No, I'm going to quote the law to you. I'm going to quote the law to you.
You're not going to school me on the law.
Apparently I am, because you're not following it right now. Section 614.0022 gives me a right to file a complaint.
Says who?
It says the freaking law, Government Code 614.022. And then...
and a complaint from whom?
It doesn't say.
Okay, exactly.
And
so
the Texas Constitution...
The person who's being stopped is not complaining...
Wait, so you're adding stuff to the law?
No.
Okay, and here's the second thing. Here's the second part. Here's the second part. The Texas Constitution says that I have a right to, quote, apply to those invested with the powers of government for redress of grievances or other purposes. I am complaining and seeking redress, as is my right, to your department.
Okay, well, we're not taking that complaint.
Okay, so that is under 3903 official oppression now. Now you are committing a criminal act. Yes, because you are, quote, intentionally denying or impeding the exercise or the enjoyment of any right, privilege, or power.
To apply that, you take it to the authorizing authority, namely a Texas Department of Public Safety.
No, I'll take it to a grand jury. I can see why your department is so out of control. It is led by incompetence. You don't care about the law except as it applies to everyone else but you. I will be at your doorstep, open carrying.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Oh, really?
Yes, I will be at your department's doorstep, and I will be open carrying, and I will bring all kinds of people with me, and you guys won't be able to do anything about it. Well, no one's checking my credentials either.
Well, if that doesn't rise to a level of concern for someone, then you're absolutely right.
I don't care about someone's concern. If I'm concerned about a guy walking down the road in a tank top, are you going to stop him? Since when does my rights...
Mr. Grisham, you go ahead and do what you have to do.
Well, you guys keep violating the law and not caring, violating people's rights, and you just don't care about the law.
One I've ever heard of in the city of El Paso.
Oh, really? I've had several.
That's right.
We've had several.
Well, this is the first I'm hearing of it.
Well, then apparently your troops and the people that we complain to aren't going up the chain of command, and this is the first time I felt like I've had to.
Well, evidently you need to do what you need to do, okay?
Well, you guys need to do what you're supposed to do.
You need to do what you need to do. You go ahead and do it, Mr. Grisham.
All right. Well, all right. Yeah, whatever.